let me see if we can hook up with Benga Odeyemi, who's a chartered accountant in our Abuja studios. Thank you for joining us, Benga. Okay, he's not there, but he'll be joining us to look at this angle from the accountant's point of view. But let me come back with you here. The issue of incentives and the citizenry and the laws and the leakage. You see, it's like a circle.
Yes,
The
they're
laws,
interwoven.
the refunds, the citizens, the implementation, and the use of the taxes that have been paid.
Yeah.
Nigerians are so like, the funny thing is when they travel abroad, they pay taxes for practically everything.
Yeah.
They pay tax, you go to buy a pen, you buy a pen for $2,
Yeah.
you pay a tax on that pen. But that does not apply here, so to speak. I mean, that kind of taxation has not yet been implemented. But I have a feeling that it's part of the laws that there are. So to go back to that law, what can we do to make a difference? Besides blocking the leakages.
Let's get something right. Which one comes first, chicken or the hen? The very first step would be for the citizens to pay their right taxes at the right time. That's the very first step.
Do they know what taxes they're supposed to pay? Do they know the rates?
That is where the awareness comes in. There is need for increased awareness. I'm happy with the current slogan from the coming from the FRS. You know, the advert, television, radio, the newspapers, you know, they have increased, you know, the rate of their advertisement. But further than that, they still need to go to the grassroots. There should be one-on-one direct marketing of the tax system. Citizens, they need to know that they need to, first of all, discharge their tax obligation. Before you can spend money, you must have generated money. It is when, after the populace, after the taxpayers must have discharged their tax obligations, that they will now expect the government to spend the money appropriately in the right way that will guarantee them confidence to pay more taxes. Then, when it comes to issue of refund, the amending the tax law to ensure that it takes care of the challenges being faced. It is after the government, it is in the course of government utilizing the taxes, the tax proceeds, that government will need to approach the assembly, both National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly, to ensure that they amend some areas that needed to be amended. Then, when it comes to, you know, people collecting taxes and not remitting, it is at that level that they will know that there is need for penalties and sanctions to be imposed on those erring employers.
What about the matter of online companies? For instance, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is talking to the government to find a way of including online companies in the tax system.
Right.
And the tax authorities have also talked about increasing the number of those that need to be taxed.
Yep.
By about 5,000 or thereabout.
Yep.
How would that work out?
You know, the Federal Inland Revenue Service planned to increase the database of its corporate taxpayers by 500 within the first quarter of this year.
500,000.
Yes. And as of the time of its report about 2 weeks ago, it has achieved about 356 or thereabout, thousand thereabout. Now, the situation is so simple. By the automation of our system, we will have our tax yield to be astronomically increased. By the time you incorporate your company, you need to hook on with the tax authority. By the time you hook on with the tax authority, the banks will be brought in as at the time you are opening your bank account.
Let's go back a little bit, backtrack a bit. By the time you're incorporating the company,
yep,
are the tax authorities at the CAC to ensure that you are registered with them, or do you have to register at the Corporate Affairs Commission, then go to the tax office to register? Isn't that a long process? Is there a way it can be made simpler?
Well,
Simplifying the process of taxing.
you know, there was a time that we have a one-stop shop established by the government, that by the time you are incorporating your company, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is there, the other agencies, the regulatory agencies, they are there, uh, uh, government regulatory agencies, they are there. So these agencies, they are quite aware that a new company has been formed, has been registered. Now, by the time you are operating, it is very simple to tap into the database and say that this is the transaction you have made. It's either you are collecting money or you are selling your goods or services. It will easily be tracked online. What happens in Nigeria is that we know the right thing to do, but some people deliberately frustrate such systems.
Please, who are these people that frustrate
Well,
such effort?
in the past, we have had occasions where some civil servants, without integrity, frustrate this situation. And some external forces also. We've had some people coming from outside Nigeria wanting to play the fast one. They will be prepared to pay heavy amount to some of the operators of this system, of this one-stop system, so that they can have the information deliberately shielded away from the regulatory authority. But with the transparency, with the corruption being fought by the current government, we believe that we'll be able to flush out these unscrupulous.
How much of
elements.
faith do we have in that process of flushing out the unscrupulous element?
Well, we believe that everybody is looking forward to good governance, because the system in which we find ourselves now, we are not so comfortable with ourselves. We are not comfortable with the system. The government too is not comfortable. So all of us, we have one destination: to have good governance in this country. And we need appropriate legal fund to be able to fund the system so that we can have, the opportunity of being among the first 20 top world in the country, in the world. So it is that urge to do it right, to have good governance, that we make the situation to be self-cleansing. If somebody is approached by certain companies that they should under-declare their taxes, then such operators will be bold enough to reject such overtures.
Okay, we're now being joined by a chartered accountant from our Abuja studios, Mr. Gbenga Odeyemi. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, we've been discussing the tax system in Nigeria and how to get it better. As a chartered accountant, do you think the tax leakages, especially at the state level, because the FIRS has always published how much it's made in form of taxes, do you think those leakages can be blocked adequately? And then do you think the citizens can also be encouraged, how best can they be encouraged to pay their taxes when they should?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, we have to look at it in two ways. Taxpayers has to see the benefit of paying taxes. So as such, what FIRS or tax authority needs to do is to encourage self-assessment, and to also ensure that people can see the benefit of paying taxes. And what do I mean by this? If you look at the level of compliance of taxpayers in Lagos, you will see that it is very high. And it's because people could see what those taxes are being used for. So if people can see exactly what the money is being used for, there will be voluntary compliance.
But leakages
Leakages will not come Leakages will not even come into existence the moment people know, the moment people knows that, okay, when I pay my tax, I can follow it through. I can see that whatever I paid goes straight into the account that is recommended. And then I will also watch to see that my tax is being used for what it is meant for. So it makes it easy.
How do you get to monitor your account, or your tax and implementation, as you say, to make it easier?
In the last few years, there have been some achievements. We now have what we call tax identification number. And with your tax identification number, you can actually track the taxes that you are paying, or the taxes that you ought to pay but that is being paid on your behalf. For example, like company income tax, the advanced component of it, which we call withholding tax. You know, you could at any point in time go to any FRS office and with your PIN number, they can download for you the taxes that you have paid. So if you now see that, okay, you've reconciled that record with your own in-house record and you see a variance, then that is something to be flagged. Now, the leakages that could be a major issue is the one in which the taxpayer is not even known